happy and pleased for what you did for me back in November. When I announced my campaign for re-election to the House of Delegates, some folks, I said I was going to go on a 74-mile bike ride through my district. And we were going to start up in the northern part of Henrico County near Virginia Center Commons, which I represent. And I represent Henrico, Richmond, all of Charles City County, part of Prince George, Hopewell. And I said, where are you heading? And I said, Charles City County, 74 miles, we'll get it done in about 5 hours. And they said, well, you're not going to go over the Benjamin Harrison Bridge through Prince George to Hopewell, are you? And I said, of course I am, I represent Hopewell. And we did. We did that, we came over the bridge, had a nice police escort, came into Hopewell, had a wonderful picnic in Hopewell, and the committee and Greg, you guys did a fantastic job. So I think of Hopewell as a bit of my baby in the General Assembly, you know. They're going to get representation there, their interests are going to be represented as long as I'm there. But when I say thank you, we won by the largest, and I say we because so many people helped me, the largest, the widest margin of any two-party race in the entire state. We won, all of us, 76 to 24% in my recent re-election. And I thank everybody for that. You know, I would be a little bit remiss if I didn't. I know this is a festive occasion. It's the first time that we've had the first annual, hopefully the first of many Democratic Christmas parties in Hopewell and Prince George for many years to come. And it's a festive occasion, but I would be remiss if I didn't point out that we had a little bit of a setback in November. Yes. You know, but let me put things in proper perspective. We had several years where we were steadily on the rise. I mean, just a few years ago, 3 years ago, we had no Democrats in the United States Senate. Now we have two, Senator Webb and Senator Warner. We had a majority of Republicans in the House of Representatives. Now we have a majority of Democrats. We had a Republican state Senate. Now we have a Democratic state Senate. Last year, for the first time, we elected, the first time in 44 years, in Virginia, a Democrat for the President of the United States, and we elected in the United States a Democrat. So we were on a roll, and this year coming up, we lost our statewide races, and in the House of Delegates, which I represent, we were hoping to become the majority party. We had a setback. Are we disappointed? Yes, we're disappointed. Is it the end? Absolutely not. I mean, it's like anything. Anything that goes on the rise is going to come down a little bit, catch your breath, and then move forward again. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And you know what's testament to that? Is I look around, there's 30 or 40 people here tonight. It's snowing 4 or 5 inches by the time we get out here. And look, you didn't stay home. You came out here, and it's a credit to what I think is going to be a strong, more vibrant, more energetic, more enthusiastic, more ebullient, and a lot of other E's, Democratic constituency. Thing that what I want to end by saying is this, and Madam Mayor is correct, there is another function that I have to go to, but it's this. I think in the House, the Republicans in the House of Delegates, they picked up some seats. But I've met with some of my colleagues, we've had our caucus, and I can assure you this. No way, shape, or form are we going to cave in to that Republican ideology in the House of Delegates. That's not going to happen. You know, those things that are important to our core, to Democrats, taking care of the have-nots of society, we're going to continue to do. I mean, keeping a safety net for Medicaid, watching out for people that are less fortunate. The Democrats have always been for those folks, and we're going to continue to be for them. You know, when the Democrats got in power, we started insuring our young kids that had no insurance. We started making sure that kids that weren't able to avail themselves of pre-K education got pre-K. We expanded the net for MR waiver clients, and I promise you this, This is one delegate in the House of Delegates that's not going to quit, that's not going to give up, and is going to challenge those Republicans every single day beginning in January in the House chamber of the House of Delegates. I have championed since I've got in there automatic restoration of rights. It's something that is just, it makes such good sense, it's good policy, and I'm going to continue to fight for that and other restorative justice issues. I think it was it Mr. Townsend I was talking to earlier? We were talking about all this money that we put into prisons, you know. And I was telling him, as I'll tell other folks, you know, we got a couple of choices. We can say, all right, somebody gets in, and think about this when I say this, talking about saving money. Right now, there's an ideology among some of the Republicans, majority of them, that we put people that have drug problems in jail and we keep them there, okay? Now, here's two solutions to it. And this is coming from somebody, a former prosecutor, former defense attorney. I've seen all sides. Which makes better sense? Somebody gets in trouble, they have a drug problem, okay? We put them in jail. It costs $42,000 a year to keep them in jail. They spend 2 years in jail, we've spent $80,000, and they still have that monkey on the back. They get back, they still have a drug problem, and the rate of recidivism, that they're likely to recommit, is about 90%. That's one alternative. The second alternative is to do something that is a little bit more pragmatic, a little bit more visionary, and that's things like drug courts. Okay? That's where somebody has intense supervised probation, they have to hold a job, they get random urinalysis tests, they have to show progress during that 2 years, and it costs $4,000 a year. So after 2 years, it's $8,000, but the best thing is the rate of recidivism is down in the single digits, 8 or 9%. So what's better, $80,000 and they recommit and go back to jail, or we spend $8,000 and we've saved a soul? Yeah. Right? It's things like that are important to the Democrats, okay? It's things like that I think, you know, doesn't make us better than them, but it certainly makes us more aware of the people in our society that need our help, okay? So, anyway, this is a festive occasion. I want to leave you with this thought that we may be a little bit smaller in the House of Delegates, but Madam Mayor, we got plenty of fight left in us.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And I love coming down to Hopewell. I love representing you in the General Assembly. We've got our work cut out for us beginning January 13th, but I earned my stripes and my scars fighting for folks in Richmond. I'm going to continue to earn my stripes and scars fighting for people in Hopewell. Thank you very much for having me.
If we can, Betty, too, let everyone here sign their name and maybe their email address or telephone number so that when they leave, we can start some type of connectedness so that we can keep in touch. And I will challenge you to start adding until you get to 10 people. I think if everyone would get 10 people to come to the polls whenever we have an election, and those 10 get 10, and those 10 get 10, we can put the Democrats back in the majority in all these houses. Amen. So please think about that. If you don't have any friends, work on 10 by next year. 1 per month. Okay? Good night.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
So let's work on 10 friends and we can do a better job next year. And Andrea Miller is going to give us a few words of wisdom. Okay.
I'm Andrea Miller, and I ran for Congress in 2008, representing the 4th District, and it was an incredible experience. The first time I saw my name on the sample ballot under Barack Obama's was a thrill I will never forget. As a matter of fact, in my garage, I have 2 cases of sample ballot. So I'll definitely never forget that. All right, I am going to run for Congress, and originally I was considering 2010. However, I realized in 2010, that would put me at the top of the ticket. And what we're working on right now is we're doing a lot of rebuilding in Virginia. And we're just getting started on that rebuilding process. And so I decided